Now, this particular Wrangler came with the optional Husky package with a self-removal feature. If yours did not come with one, they are available in the aftermarket as well. Hello there, this is Brian, and here is Maverick, and welcome to an episode of Vehicle Reviews. In this episode, we will be reviewing a 1998 Jeep Wrangler SE. And if you like this video, smash that like button for the win. I picked up this Wrangler, which I call Sarah, from Craigslist in the winter, and I've been using this as my daily driver since. It comes mostly stock, which includes a 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder AMC engine, 5-speed manual 4-wheel drive transmission with a Dana 35 rear. Upgrades include a 2.5-inch lift, upgraded 16-inch rims matched to a set of 30.5-inch Wrangler DoorTech all-terrain tires, 19-gallon gas tank for extended range, and a Besttop soft top and interior security box. And as you can see, it's the gunmetal pearl with a gray interior. The front bumper has been weather modified for that rugged off-road, no bantha fodder given look. So now let's take a look under the hood and see what we have here. A plus of the Wrangler is you can just open these two latches to open her up. Downside is that in a zombie apocalypse, zombies could open this up if you're dealing with the intelligent variant. And when you open these up, there's a bar you can just simply latch to the hood or just push it all the way back right against the top. One of the advantages of the TJ line is that with age and corrosion, there's a design feature of the fender that allows patina rust to form, as seen here. This is due to a stability plate underneath that collects water, leading to corrosion. It's a great feature. If you decide that the patina is not for you, there are several options to allow you to replace this, ranging from an original equipment fender or an aftermarket solution. Just be careful with the aftermarket original equipment fenders, as they often have a thinner gauge of steel than what comes from the factory. One of the beauties of the TJ Wrangler iteration is its simplicity. It's one of the last Wranglers to follow the KISS campaign, making it easier to work on by yourself as long as you take your time and use common sense. Lights are still traditional, fluids are easily accessible, and the air intake is just under the hood, allowing you to tread deeper into water with stock intake than most other vehicles in the market, as long as you don't mind wet feet. And even if that does happen, there are drain plugs under the carpets to take care of that as well. This 2.5-liter engine produces 120 horsepower at 3,500 RPM, and with 140 pounds of torque by 5,400, I find that this engine does just fine. I can do well above 70 miles an hour, which is the limit here on the turnpikes in Pennsylvania, and I've never had any issues off-road. People seem to completely discount this engine, saying that you need to have the 4-liter V6, but I find this grossly exaggerated. It's worth noting that the original Willys Jeep only had 60 horsepower, and people hold that model in high regard for a reason. This vehicle has a newer Besttop top in the same style as the original factory soft top. You can access the back by swinging open the tailgate and removing this back piece. I usually drive with it tucked up into the roofline, as it gives it a place to dock and makes it easier bringing it back down. As this model has the Husky package, the rear seat is currently removed, which took me about a minute. And let's be honest, if you're forcing anyone larger than a child or Umpa Loompa into the back seat, you aren't really doing them any favors. With it removed, you have quite a bit of storage for runs to your local food market, Home Depot, or the liquor store if you need to drown your sorrows. This has a fire extinguisher installed for insurance against any type of engine fire, because as with most things, when you buy a preventative device, the reason for that device never actually happens. The bumper features a built-in trailer hitch and two-tone patina with a vehicular towing capacity of 2,000 pounds. Now, I found out the hard way that U-Haul will not let you rent a trailer with a soft top, so just keep that in mind if you're looking this for towing. Of course, Sarah is a convertible without factory-installed air conditioning, which doesn't seem to be very common in the TJ, so during the summer months, We'll either ride with the top down or in bikini mode, where the top is left off as shown. Personally, I prefer the bikini mode for a number of reasons. If the weather suddenly changes, this actually will still keep me relatively dry in most light rain storms. And it also helps keep at bay those pesky cancer-causing UV rays. Not to mention that when I'm driving, I prefer to keep my eyes on the road and not staring at the ongoing nuclear fusion reaction above. So let's get this old gal into bikini mode. This has half doors, which you open and close with a zipper pull, which is kind of cool. And also it makes drive-through windows pretty interesting. I feel like these half doors are a nice compromise between a full door with a window and no door, and I think they look pretty cool. You simply take the upper half off by popping it out of its socket, as shown here. There's a little more work when it comes to taking out the rear side windows, but really not much at all. All you do is unzip from the back to the front, and then you'll notice here there's some Velcro, which adds a second layer of protection for these windows, as well as improving the durability in rain. Which I should mention, these actually are really watertight. Believe it or not, I've actually taken it through a laser car wash a couple times and never got any water in. Once I get these off, I like to store these in the back here and secure them all together using the rear seat belts, which seems to work pretty well. And if you're going to remove this entirely, all the way down, you just simply pull on these latches here and this whole top will fold back into the rear trunk. And here we go. This is the bikini top mode, which again, I really prefer to drive in during the summer as it gives me some protection from the elements while still giving me that convertible feeling. There really isn't much to the interior of a stock TJ. Of course, you have windshield, the smallest visors I've ever seen. I often joke that a 1950 Chevy has more interior amenities than this old gal. The stock radio was replaced with an aftermarket stereo. You can upgrade to a double DIN unit with some modification. The heater in this Jeep actually works really well, and AC upgrades are available. Older TJs have an ashtray, which was later replaced, 3 expansion tabs for things like fog lights. The center console is actually really useful. Nice cup holders, lockable center storage. The armrest is actually really comfy. Four-wheel drive selector is right next to the gear selector. And this offers two-wheel drive, which is a rear-wheel drive for better fuel economy. Four-wheel drive low, to get into that, you want to go into a stop, go into neutral, shift into low, and that's going to re-gear the entire Jeep to give you maximum traction in worst-case conditions. But it also is going to limit your speed, so you really only use that for rock crawling or if you're really looking at a tough situation. And lastly, there is four-wheel drive high for snow, ice, gravel, and light water wading. This is not to be confused with all-wheel drive, and the key difference here is that it fully engages the four-wheel drive rather than as needed like an all-wheel drive system. That sounds better, right? Well, yes and no. The issue is that you should never engage this unless the tires can slip, or else you could cause damage to the transmission. What this means is if you're driving in normal rain, you're driving a rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive vehicle. If you've never driven a rear-wheel drive vehicle before, just be careful in the rain, as you could end up fishtailing around turns, or if you're going up a hill, you might end up slipping and spinning. Just be mindful. It takes a little bit getting used to, but if once you use it enough, you'll just learn to control that by using your throttle more mindfully. So enough about features, right? What do you think of the Jeep, and would you recommend that I buy one? I think the answer might surprise you. If you're looking for a good, reliable daily driver for back and forth to work, possibly not. If you're just talking about specs, there are better choices out there with better fuel economy, safety, reliability, and comfort. If you're looking for a vehicle that can handle any situation on the road, would you recommend this? Again, I'd say possibly not. Sure, you'd be hard pressed to find a vehicle that could handle true off-road situations better than Wrangler, but for driving on roads or gravel in rain, snow, ice, or even some minor flooding, there are far better vehicles out there. Yes, I know it's sacrilege to say something like this if you own a Jeep, but it's true. The bottom line is from a technical standpoint, this is not the best road transportation. But what this vehicle does provide is an experience that's hard to find in other vehicles. Every time I take it out, I feel like I'm on some kind of adventure, even if it's just running to the grocery store. I find myself being more adventurous. See that field over there? If I wanted to, I could just drive through it. I won't, but I could. You're going to find yourself reevaluating your vacations. Rather than flying somewhere, can I take the Jeep instead? Are there gravel roads that can take me there instead? And yes, there are. Look up Trans-America Trail. When you drop the top down on this off-road loving vehicle, you become so connected with the environment around you. It's honestly the closest thing to a motorcycle experience that you can get with four wheels. And in some ways, it's actually better because you don't have to wear the armor and the protection that you should when you're on two wheels. And lastly, there is the Jeep community. It is the only four-wheeled vehicle that I've driven in where fellow drivers welcome you with open arms like you're part of the family. And yes, the Jeep wave, it's a thing. I actually think it might be a federal law you have to wave. There are countless Facebook groups you can join and go on fun adventures with, even if it's just going to a drive-in movie theater together. It really does open up doors. And that doesn't mean you have to get involved. If you're a lone wolf adventuring on your own, it's just as much fun as well. And I know what you're saying. Jeeps are unreliable. They suck up fuel, always need some work. You're better off getting a Toyota for off-roading or a Subaru for the fuel economy. I get tired of people bringing up reliability or fuel economy like it's the end-all be-all of a vehicle. They act like reliability is the most important factor in every purchase, and that gas mileage should be a deciding factor. When I look at a car, fuel and economy and reliability are not the top of my list. In fact, they're actually pretty far down. Every vehicle eventually breaks down, and fuel economy savings won't amount to more than usually $100 a month for most people. And if you're worried about $100 a month, then you have more problems to worry about than fuel economy. What I place highest is how much fun a vehicle is to drive, how it makes me feel when I take it out, how much enjoyment it brings to those around me. And in those things, the Wrangler scores incredibly high marks. It's for these reasons I'd recommend this. It brings a smile to my face every time I look at it or take it out. Having other people wave to me on the road really does cheer me up on days when I'm feeling down. And having that sense that you could go anywhere and do anything with this vehicle is really just priceless. So if you're looking for an experience, get a Jeep. If not, well, maybe it's not for you. But sometimes life is about taking chances. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. If so, be sure to smash that like button. I have a number of other reviews in the works, and you can keep an eye out for those by subscribing. So thanks again, and keep Jeeping, and I'll talk to you next time.